let's talk about something that maybe wasn't as pretty tonight, Tyler, and that was Hayden Wesneski. And not to say that he was atrocious, because he was not by any means, but just didn't have what everybody was hoping for. For those that watched the show a night ago, I said I would do something silly and shenanigan like if he went over 6 and struck out over 10, and everybody was hyped for it. And um, that didn't happen. So I am in the clear for the time being. But he still, again, wasn't atrocious. 4 2/3, 6 hits, the 3 runs. I mean, pretty much all coming via the long ball. That is really what beat him up tonight. 2 of those 3 coming on solo shots, just 2 walks, and the 4 strikeouts for Wesneski. So really, you take away the two long balls, and it's a really different start for Wesneski. So again, this wasn't Smiley's start of last night where he was cooked and couldn't get it done. It's just 2 pitches got hung up on. They got taken out of the ballpark. This is a Reds team that coming into the series we knew has generated majority of their offense off of the long ball so far this season. So I think it's okay to walk out of this one and look at Wesneski and go, everything's going to be fine. And just like our friend Juice said, Tyler, and this is kind of what I want you to respond to, he said on Twitter, he said he's kind of happy that Wesneski went through this kind of start early in the season because it's a learning experience. It's a growth opportunity. It's a, what did I do wrong on those 2 pitches that got taken out of the yard? How can I be better? Because, yeah, maybe it's not the start you wanted, but in the grand scheme of it, it wasn't an atrocious start either, where we're sitting here like we were last night about like, wow, why was Drew Smiley even in that game at that point? They let Wesneski get out of it, 87 pitches thrown. They said, hey, young buck, you regroup, and we'll see you again in 5 days.
Yeah, I wish, part of me wishes they would have left him in that little spot, but like, I agree with Juice, and even our boy Jake from Dingers, I saw him tweeting about it too. I think honestly, his first pitch of the game, first pitch single, or was it a double? Might have been a double. It was almost like that early punch to the jaw, and it's not like you said it. It's not like he was bad tonight. It just felt like he couldn't get into a groove after that first inning. He took that first punch, it rocked him a little bit, score a run out of it, and it just felt like he really couldn't get locked in like we've seen him locked in before. And to only give up 2 more runs after that via the long ball off of one guy that's hit 3 home runs in the past 3 days. He's hot right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't awful. And you have to agree with Juice. It's, hey, let him stay in, try to figure it out. He didn't have his best stuff, and look what happened. The offense finally came around. So, yes, this is different than Drew Smiley's start. Felt more like whatever he was throwing, they were hitting. And it's not like Wesneski wasn't getting crushed. So I'm not worried about this one. And hey, we ended up getting a win out of it. And hopefully, hey, he could just bounce back from this and just go up from here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna draw a comparison here really quick, Tyler, and I think you'll appreciate this one. This felt like a start that we saw at the beginning of last season for Justin Steele, where he maybe didn't have his best stuff, right? Because we talked about it over the course of the season last year, and as the season wore on and developed, you saw Steele take those noticeable steps forward and grow, where you could tell games that he didn't have his best stuff, but he wasn't fighting it necessarily. He was battling, right? He was, okay, I know I don't got it, but I'm still going to go up there. I'm still going to give it my best effort, and we're going to get through this thing, and I'm going to give a quality start. Now we're starting to see that out of Steele. We saw that just with his first start. Really rough first inning, couldn't get the command down, settled in a little bit, worked out of a jam early against the Brewers, and then cruised through the remaining 5 innings of his start. That's growth. I think that's what happened to Wesneski tonight, and he just couldn't battle against himself on a couple of those pitches. He might have not had his best stuff, and he might tell you that's to your face. Say, hey, I didn't have it, and I tried to battle, and it just wasn't enough to give my best. And as a young pitcher, reminding everybody, he's only 25 years old. He's going to grow. He's going to get used to that. The more starts like this he has early in the season, I think we can see that level of growth that we saw a year ago from Justin in Hayden, where he learns how to battle himself when he doesn't have his best stuff. Because you hear pitchers talk about it all the time, right? Where I didn't have my best stuff, today. Most pitchers will tell you 90% of the time you don't have your best stuff. And it is about being a bulldog and battling. Like the greatest pitchers are the highest compete guys. The Max Scherzers of the world, the Justin Verlanders of the world, the John Lesters of the world, who can go out there and still shove it down your throat when they don't have their best stuff. And I think that's where Hayden is right now. I think he's just trying to learn that. He's trying to figure that out. And once he gets that in his head, he'll be fine because he's that type of guy that kind of has that little bit of Jake and I talked about this on an offseason episode, that tick on the mound where he can settle in and dial in and give some attitude and get things going. So I'm not worried too much about Hayden whatsoever.